Hi, this is Deborah Christofferson. I play Sue Blevins on 911. You're listening to Fandom Family Chats.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Fandom Family Chats. I'm Jeanette.
I'm Tiffany.
And tonight it's our Fox night. So we're going to be discussing 911 and then The Resident. 911 first. This week was a little different than others. We had like 4 calls, but it was all involving the same person.
That poor woman.
I felt so sorry for her. I mean, talk about.
I thought she really, was cursed there for a while because, just.
I know. It was terrible. And I mean, obviously, we could tell, we found out she's an actress. We can tell, like, obviously she was wealthy to start with. And her assistant, Alexis, they were delivering some sort of package to her. And turns out it was like a bracelet supposed to bring luck that cost Felice $20,000. Like, oh my gosh, it better bring luck with that kind of price tag.
Yes.
But what she said, it was from Pompeii and it was some sort of cleansing, like, ritual. But I think she said, didn't everyone die in Pompeii? And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't sound like good luck to me. It's not the place I'd want to get it from, but okay. And they noticed like there was somebody watching the delivery happen though, which, was creepy. I didn't know quite where we were going to go with this person. Like, just imagine like getting a package, somebody's just watching you from across the street. Like, you'd be like, okay,
that's
weird.
Not normal.
Yeah.
Red flag.
Not normal. Right. But that all seemed to be okay. And then of course her chandelier fell directly on her, but didn't injure her. So like that was the part that like she was good. I think they were worried at first because she didn't have feeling in one of her legs or whatever, but it was just like a pinched nerve or something. They, cut the chandelier off and she was good. Like,
yeah.
I think that is good luck. The fact that a chandelier falls on you and you are not harmed. It's pretty lucky.
That's true. That is pretty lucky, actually. I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. But she tells them all she's cursed. And of course, Eddie's like, no, like he doesn't believe in those things at all.
I like how Eddie just jumps right in on it,
Yeah.
Like, something's not right here.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, that's not, curses are not a thing,
Of course he goes, to logical first
right.
instead of
not like
superstitious.
Not like Chim, who's like immediately like, no, this is not good. This is not good.
Jim and him were so funny.
Yes. But also, like, I wasn't really believing her at first. Because like I said, about the chandelier, I'm like, that's pretty lucky. It didn't hurt you. But then we get called to another scene where this time she is injured. And it was like, this was the thing from the preview that I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening right now?
That would be really scary to have wax just
hot
wax
over
your face,
and not just on your face, but like it was in her throat too. Like, I don't know, that would be terrifying. Just I'm claustrophobic a little bit, so like the thought of like suffocating,
oh yeah,
I think I would have a heart attack just from like the anxiety. Like that was insane.
But luckily, Eddie saw the bracelet, so he knew who it was right away.
Yeah. Like,
okay,
it's our friend Police, yeah. And they get that worked out, they thank God for them. I feel like, I don't know, I'm glad Hen's back. She was the one that like kind of dug all that out of her throat. Like, love Hen.
I would have missed her so much if she was gone.
I know. I was like, I'm so glad she's still here. But then they got her, so obviously she goes to the hospital and get checked out, and they get back and the bracelets in the ambulance. And that was when Shem was like really freaking out. He was like, oh God, don't touch that. Him's even buying in. She goes and gets gloves and is like handing them to Eddie, like, here, use these if you're gonna pick it up. And Eddie, of course, just picks it up. Like, this is really it's not a thing, guys, And then that guy falls, there's something like, and Chim's like, it's already started, like, And it was gasoline, which they never did explain like how he like why there was gasoline on the floor, but you know, they had to evacuate because that's kind of like scary. Like, where did that come from? One of the fire trucks leaking gasoline?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't even explain that. I didn't think about
No.
that.
We did get like a little bit of answers to Eddie as to why he was so like like, you know, in disbelief when it comes to this curse. I mean, something happened with his abuela, um, you know, like after her husband died, and I guess he was just relating the story because he thinks that Alexis is obviously involved in, you
Mhm.
know, just trying to like, you know, whatever she's doing, trying to con Felice because that's what happened to Sabuela. So I understand like kind of where his head was at on that.
Yeah,
Um,
she was, pretty sketchy. So
yeah, I mean, I have to admit, I was thinking there was something up with Alexis too. I mean, you
yeah,
know, so it's understandable, I think.
of course, she realized that she lost her bracelet.
Yes.
So then they end up in yet another 911 call.
Yeah. Yeah. She had to go obviously get some more luck since she had lost her good luck bracelet. And that woman, when what there was like some sort of amethyst or something, you know, on a top shelf, and she was like, "Ooh," and even Alexis was like, "No, no, 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 don't touch it. I'm gonna go get the owner." And Blaze is still trying to get out the stool. I thought something was gonna happen there, you know. I
Mhm.
was like, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing?" Like, if I was having that kind of day, I feel like I wouldn't like I wouldn't I'd be like sitting in my house on my couch, not gonna touch anything. Like, this is dangerous.
Yeah, I wouldn't have even walked into a crystal shop where there's like sharp, pointy,
No,
heavy things,
no,
like,
no.
no,
But I
just
mean,
maybe like a padded room, just stay there.
yeah, like I'm not gonna do anything. But it wasn't her that the bad luck got this time because poor Alexis comes out. She's been stabbed by a crystal. All of this stuff was just so crazy. I'm like, what happened right now?
Yeah, of all the things to be stabbed with, a crystal probably would not feel too great. It's quite a large
Imagine.
item to be stabbed
Well,
with,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I know it's pointy or whatever, but like in my head, I'm thinking, what kind of force would it take to like stab someone
right?
with like that large of, I don't know, it's not that pointy, is it? I don't know, maybe it
Mm-mm.
is, but I don't
That,
know. It seemed kind of out there for me. I was like, that seems really weird.
yeah, I was very out there.
Yeah. I think
I
they
think
were
it
all
would be harder than to just like they showed in the seed, like, oh,
yeah, I mean, I think
no, you're gonna need a lot more force
you would
behind
have to
that,
like
buddy.
literally fall onto it, I think,
Right?
for that to happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were all confused. I mean, the shop owner, you know, all of them. And then we were confused anymore when they all like pass out, like everyone in the store.
Yeah, that was really weird.
I was like, what is happening right now?
I wonder if that's actually real,
I don't
where it
know.
mixes with whatever's in the stomach acid,
I
and becomes
mean,
toxic to people around them. Because that
yes,
was
so.
insane to see.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder. It's got to be, I mean, it has to be some sort of truth to it for them to say it, I think, you know? I don't know. But once again, Hen's like the one that's like, oh, if you mix this with the stomach acid, here we've got this. I'm like, are you just going to solve like every case that we're on today? I think so.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's the resident doctor now,
I
so.
know. I know, right? But you know, Athena, you know, they got her in there and she's pulling footage like from the shop. And they see that same man that was outside of Felice's house is in the shop as well. And they've seen he's been, I think he was at they obviously see footage that he was at the spa as well. So they're kind of starting to put that together. And that's when they find out too that like they got the bracelet from him, and the bracelet was only $11,000 versus 20, which that did upset me because I'm like, okay, so Alexis really is kind of, I mean, obviously she's not trying to harm her, but like she is stealing from her.
Yeah, like she wasn't in on trying to hurt her, but
Mhm.
that's a pretty big
That's
chunk of change.
that's a lot of money. Like even for someone, I mean, you know, like Felice, that's still a lot of money.
And it seems like she sees her almost as like her best friend,
Mhm.
and she's stealing all that
I
money from her best
know.
friend.
I know.
Just
I
sad.
know. It was pretty terrible. But I mean, Felice seems to not care because she told Eddie, that she's all I have. So she was willing to just kind of forgive that. That's a better person than me. I'm not sure that I can
Mhm.
forgive like someone taking what $9,000 from me.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of a
no.
lot.
Mm-mm.
So, but the stalker, the guy, he's still not giving up. He ends up like following Felice in her car and causing a huge accident.
That's that, that chase scene was so funny to watch. 'Cause it's like tiny little town, tiny little roads, like one-way roads almost.
Yes.
You just kept seeing like the same buildings over and over, going in circles. I'm like, what is going on? Where are you people driving?
Yeah, I was a little confused about that too. And I'm like, where is she? Like, you're in LA, right? Like, where are you? That like, I don't know. It just felt a little strange, but
Yeah, that scene felt very odd.
yeah.
Yeah, but then she ran right into the back of the
It's like an
asphalt truck.
ass.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The asphalt truck. And of course, it just dumped right on top of her car.
I mean, I think she is a little cursed, like
Maybe a little bit.
just a little bit, right? I mean, I know some of these things we find out have been his fault, but it's still some pretty bad luck.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm glad that Athena was near there and she heard the 911 call and like kind of rushed there as fast as she could. But I mean, it was a little touch and go because I mean, like with all the asphalt, I mean, it's starting to harden, and so like she's not able to breathe. Once again, the suffocating thing. I'm like, I mean, could there be worse ways to die?
Right.
I mean, this is twice that you're like completely suffocating.
And even, well, even the first one, it punctured, like here, so that probably made it hard to breathe
Yeah.
too. Yeah, I don't
Well,
like that one.
yeah, it was a lot. But they get her out, like we knew they would. But it was definitely close.
Watching those
Um,
guys just rip that asphalt away.
I
I
know.
like that scene.
Yes. I love it. I love it. I like because we don't always get to see them like, I mean, like we see them in rescues, but I feel like compared to some of the other fire shows, we don't see them in like deep action very often. And I like it when we do. I enjoy too, like getting to see kind of the story, like the stalkers telling like Athena to kind of explain like everything that's happened. Because even him, like, it's not like he was out to like harm her at first. He was just, I mean, obviously he knows his bracelet's a fake. So like his terms and conditions say like you can't, there's no video, there's no recordings of this. And her being the influencer she is, we're gonna do a live unboxing, of course. And so he was just trying to get his bracelet back.
Yeah, he
But
went a little far.
a little bit too far, a little bit too far, I think. I mean, obviously the chandelier wasn't his fault, but the wax, I mean, that wasn't necessarily his fault either, but like when he accidentally knocked that over on her, he just left.
Maybe
I mean,
he's also cursed.
right? Because I mean,
Because
he
it
was
seems like
having,
he had pretty bad luck too.
yes, yeah. And I mean, the fight with Alexis, he had no intention of hurting her. She happened to have the crystal in her hand. And during the struggle, she got stabbed.
Mm.
So, I mean, it was all sort of, I mean, the only one that I would say is like definitely his fault. He intended to do this was like the car chase.
Mm.
Um, and that was, I don't know. I mean, once again, though, you saw the accident happen. I mean, like you tried to leave. Obviously, they apprehended him, but like, so it's like, okay, buddy, like I know you weren't trying to hurt her, but every time you did, you didn't stick around to
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
make it better. So it is what it is. They got him.
I don't feel bad for him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna. You got what you deserved, but um, I thought the interaction between Bobby and Athena was a little bit funny though. Like with, he's like, so the chandelier though, wouldn't you say that's just coincidence? Because she said, she didn't believe in coincidence or whatever. And she's like, we'll just call it a freak accident. Like, well, okay, same thing, Athena, but whatever makes you happy. And then we get to see, I really enjoyed also like the scenes with like Eddie, how he called Felice, like he had Felice like meet him at the beach. And that was like, I'm not sure what that was. Like, I understand it was just a moment for him to be able to talk to her about Alexis and all these different things. But like, were we setting up? Like, I thought like they were gonna like get together.
Yeah.
honestly.
That was weird. Like to call her to the beach just to talk for a few minutes, that was really
Yeah.
odd.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm not opposed to it
No.
because I've been saying I want Eddie to, but like she seems like she's like a little troubled and
Mhm.
she has been in the past. She's had a lot of issues. And I'm like, not sure if that's the woman that I want to be brought into Christopher's life.
I mean, she
But
seemed nice enough, but
yeah, I don't know. It
I
just,
really thought they were going to give us more at the end than they did. It just kind of
yeah,
seemed like she just walked away abruptly. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
that's all we're getting? Okay.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, okay, let's see what happens here. And then she told her little story about all the trouble she's had in the past, and then she just left. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Like, great. Nothing happened here.
Yeah.
Okay.
He also called his abuela, which I thought was cute to just kind of check in with her. Which again, I don't know. I'm trying to not complain. Like again, still kind of strange because it's not like what happened to her was like recent, I don't think.
Mm-mm.
So it's not like he was calling. I mean, yeah, maybe it's just to show Eddie being a sweet guy, calling and checking on his grandma. You know, it is what it is. But a little strange. I don't know.
Yeah, that
Sometimes,
whole scene was just a little
sometimes we just had
off.
like filler, and I'm just like,
Yes.
okay, what was this?
Hmm.
But you know, I'm not gonna complain too much over Eddie talking to his grandma because that's cute. You know, it is whatever. But what one of the funniest things, we're all talking about curses and all these things, and poor Buck, I think he actually was starting to think he might be cursed as well, with his efforts to try to help, Cameron and Connor, with their having a baby.
I felt so bad for him.
I
Like,
I
I
just
understand sometimes for men that can be,
the conversation when he was talking about, he said he was keeping his tank full, which I thought, oh my God, Buck, just the way that like you word this cracks me up.
Mhm.
And even Hen was like, so you haven't like nothing? And he was like, no. And she said, for how long? He said 4 weeks. And I mean, I mean, she was kind of laughing at him, like, man, okay. But he's been trying to figure this out. Like everything keeps going wrong with like his appointments to give his donation. Like what was it? There was like I can't remember everything that happened. Like,
We
well, the
lost
most recent,
power.
yeah, the most recent one, he gets there and the power's out.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my gosh, okay. So he has to wait another week. And he's such a good sport about it though. Like he's not getting upset. He's just, okay, sure, you know. And I didn't really care for the way that Cameron and Connor like kind of came in there like, do you not want to do this? Like, you just need to tell us. I'm like, he's been trying. Like, this isn't his fault.
And first of all, do not come into his place of work in
Right.
that conversation.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Because everyone heard.
Hmm. Yeah.
So they all know now, you know?
Why? Especially if you've been friends for so long, why
Mhm.
would you do that?
Just
You know
call
that's a
him.
conversation you have in private.
Yes.
Come on
Yeah. I will say I was a little surprised that like Eddie didn't know. Like that's his best friend. So
now.
like I'm
Mhm.
surprised that he didn't confide in him with that. I don't know. I mean, I understand why you didn't tell Bobby, you didn't tell Chim, like although Chim's almost family too. So I mean, I'm like, does Maddie even know? Like, I don't know. It surprised me, I guess, that he was keeping it so quiet. And maybe he was waiting to see what happened with it and then he would maybe tell people. But I guess maybe not because I mean the kid's not going to be his. I mean it's just
Well, yeah.
so I don't know.
Guess at
Just
that point you wouldn't really need to tell anybody. It's like,
just
hey, here's
Buck.
this kid that's not mine.
It's just Buck. I don't know. He just seems like the kind of person. I don't know. I was surprised he was keeping a secret. Like he doesn't seem like the secret keeping type.
Right.
You know. But
Especially a secret that big for him.
yeah, yeah. But he's got another appointment, but he's got to be there by like a certain time. And his car stalls. And when he hopped out, and I mean, he started running. He was like, I'm going to make it. He had like 15 minutes to make it, however far he was going. I mean, just cracking me up. I don't
That
know.
was really funny. She's just like running right through people.
It's a good, I mean, that's a good time to be a firefighter and obviously really in shape
Mhm.
because you were able to do it. Me, there's no chance. Like, sorry, we're just going to make another appointment. Like, I'm
Right.
not going to make it.
That's not happening.
I mean, I'd run like, 10 feet. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm done.
Yeah.
Enough of that. I made an
I'm
effort.
done with this.
Didn't work out. But he gets there with like 2 minutes to spare or something crazy. And at first, that lady, I thought she was going to say something. And I was like, look at him. And this man who's in like phenomenal shape is literally sweating because he ran there. Like, give him the cup and let him do his business so he can get on with his life, The poor man has been trying so hard.
Yeah, I felt relief for him when he was finally
I
able to go in
know.
his room.
I know. I'm going to go on record saying I still don't like the storyline. I don't like it because I don't think Buck is the kind of person that can know that he has a child out there in the world
Mhm.
and not be a part of its life.
Yeah, I don't think the storyline's gonna, I don't think it's gonna pan out. Either it's not gonna be a success,
Yeah.
or something's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna be, because he can't.
I just don't.
I couldn't do that, and I
No.
don't think he's the type of person that
No,
could.
I don't think he is either. So we'll see. But I'm not a fan of it. But it's made for some funny scenes like this one. So I guess that's worth it,
That definitely was worth it.
No. I mean, this week was obviously kind of chaotic with everything going on. And it looks like next week is going to be a little chaotic as well. There's like a couple that's talk about, I don't even know what they said, but they're like wanting to do something and they end up on the top of the fire truck and the fire truck is like moving down the road. One of them falls off. So that's interesting. They showed clips of like a Renaissance festival.
Mhm.
Not sure exactly what's going on there. And then you can kind of heard someone say, I think I murdered my boss.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's all we got from the clips, but it sounds like an interesting episode anyways.
it does.
So
I want to see it.
yeah, so we'll see, right? And then I think it said like we've got 2 more episodes till the fall finale, which that's never fun because then it has to take a break. So boo on that.
Do we get Lone Star back when they take their?
I think Lone Star is back January 24th. Don't quote me on that. It's close to that though. Somewhere in like mid to late January, I think.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah. So
Excited for
I
them.
guess this one will take a break like right before Thanksgiving and then, Thanksgiving, Christmas, there won't be anything. And then we'll get Lone Star coming back sometime after that. And then I don't know. I feel like they do it like when Lone Star comes back, this one also comes back.
Mhm.
Very well. I guess that's all for 911. So now we're going to say goodbye to Tiffany and say hello to Maureen so we can talk about the resident.
Bye, Tiffany.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Enjoy The Resident. This was a good episode.
Mhm.
Yes. So this episode of the resident,
Mhm.
we finally get to meet our governor that's going to be slashing our budget by a third.
Every time they mention anything, I was like, buy a third. Buy a third. Every single time.
Every time.
Also,
They didn't even say it this episode, but I figured I
know.
had to say it for real.
no, they haven't said in the last couple of episodes, but now
I
it's so ingrained in me that I automatically say it after every time they mention the budget.
Oh yeah,
Any
it's gonna
cut
be-
of any kind, buy a third. They're going to be talking about like a budget to one department, and I'm going to say, buy a third.
Yeah,
It's not
it's like a
even
running
going.
joke at this point.
Now, how do I know that guy who's playing the governor?
Oh, I don't know. He did look a little familiar to me, but I didn't really think much about it. Maybe I don't know him.
Desperate
because-
Housewives. That's where I know him from. He was Rex. So I know that governor who's, if you look him up on IMDb, it says Mark Betts. It doesn't say governor anything, but I know him from Desperate Housewives, and he was a jerk on there too. So I was like, this is just who this guy is. This is who he is.
This plays a really good jerk.
And I also wanted to point out that the title episode is The Chimera. What do you think of when you hear that?
I was gonna think of it too. I automatically knew like there's gonna be when the guy was talking about, we'll get to it, about his DNA. I was like, he's had a transplant because obviously he's got 2 sets of DNA because he's the chimera. This is Teen Wolf.
There it is. I was like,
stuff, right? Yeah, no, I immediately. was excited when I saw the name of this. I was like, ooh, I know what that means.
This is the second medical show. I think Chicago Med talked about a chimera.
Yes. So this must be a real thing.
And so, and just in the last year, I've watched Teen Wolf, and that's the only reason I know what a chimera is from Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
And then it was on here. I was like, oh, I know what that is. I know what that means.
I
So I was
know.
excited about that. But this governor guy, he's a bit of a pill.
Just a bit. Yeah.
I was not excited that he's going after my people. I don't like that. I don't want there to be confrontation with Belle. Belle has enough on his plate. I don't need this to be a thing.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought this was going to go better than it did, but I had hopes at first. And then, like, when they walked in and, it's supposed to be a private meeting and there's like all that press, I'm like, cool. So this is definitely not a private meeting.
Of course, what I thought of when Kit was like, oh, I thought it was going to be private is, well, Kit, you kind of were the one who threw the first gauntlet of going to the media. So that's
Twitter.
he probably stole that idea from you to try to humiliate you. And I mean, I was kind of like, I know that in the beginning she was telling Belle not say anything, to be quiet, but he had to say something.
Yeah.
Nothing was going to get accomplished.
Right. It was clear he was not going to help. I mean, he was being so condescending with the whole, I love your accent. Is that rude? Yeah, a little bit when we're having a business meeting. Like, I understand it. Like, if you were being sincere, like, I love your accent, like, cool, whatever. But no, you're just being condescending and gross right now.
Well, and he also wanted to point out, you're not, because he followed that up with, I'm from Atlanta, born and bred. Like,
yes.
Great. She's been here for over half of her life. So
just like she said, lived here for 40 years. I mean, that's close enough,
She's not 80 years old, so she's lived there for over half her life. I mean, kids, what, 50, 60? 60 maybe.
60 max, probably, like.
So, I mean, she's lived there since she probably graduated from med school in Georgia. So she's been there just as long as is necessary. And for him to point that out, to try to garner what support for you just because you're from Atlanta. I mean, you can be from a place and still be a jerk and not have people follow you because you're a jerk.
Yeah. And I mean, he was trying to spin it all, how he's going to, the money he's, cutting from them, he's going to, give to the police because crime is so high in Atlanta. I'm sure it is. And I'm not saying that that's not a good cause as well, but like,
there's other ways to do that.
This is needed. Like Kit said, this is a public hospital, so we're going to need public funding. That's what we use to survive.
And the fact that he also said, well, I ran on my ballot, basically was, my platform was lowering taxes. So he basically said, I didn't have a way to do that. So now I have to scramble to find a way to fulfill the lies that I told people in my campaign. He said that.
Right.
I mean, obviously he didn't use the word lie, but that's exactly what he's doing.
Oh, absolutely.
They find out all this stuff. And I love that Belle did not let it go.
No.
When he tried to brush it off as whatever, Belle came right at him. I like that. Not only did he say it from his seat, but Belle made his face appear, because I think this guy's mistake is, one, he clearly didn't do research on Belle, because he told whoever, his assistant, I guess, was that his assistant, get all the dirt on him. The dirt on Belle has already been brought to the table.
Right.
It's already been dealt with, and he has become beloved. He had that talk show. He had that product. He saved so many people's lives. He's beloved. You have not done your research on who you're attacking right now. And
but I mean,
Medicaid fraud, right? That's what it was.
Yeah, it was some kind of Medicaid fraud or something. Yeah. And that's what he used to fund his campaign, apparently, whatever he got from like that. So I'm like, oh, that's not a good look, bud, But I mean, I don't know.
But it wasn't just that. It was that a lot of the people, the taxpayers, suffered while he made out with a deal, which provided him with millions.
Yes. So it's not good. I mean, I think, like you said, I think Belle had to call him out. I think it was totally the right move. And even Kit, I think, admitted like it was, afterwards.
She said, I think she actually said it needed to happen.
Yeah. But he's not going to let it go, because, I mean, he's like pulling in, like, basically blackmailing like a scrub tech there at the hospital to like spy and get dirt on Belle. And I'm scared of what I don't think they'll necessarily find dirt, but I think they'll
make something up
dirt, and they'll they'll take something that's happened and they'll twist it, so we'll see. And I mean, you could tell like Daniel didn't really want to, but obviously he's got something on him, and so can't really have a choice, you know?
And the weird thing was when he first got in the car with the governor, he was almost in awe that the governor
Yeah.
asked to see him. And he was like, "Oh, what can I do for you, sir?" He was very excited about it. But then when he brought up Bell, his initial response is, "But I've heard nothing but good things about Dr. Bell. Everybody loves Dr. Bell." So they had to. I mean, this guy is so devious that he didn't even hide what he was doing. He didn't make any attempt whatsoever to hide that he was.
None.
It's not like he tried to play it up as, at first he was like, "I've heard bad things," but then he outright went for, "I know that you did something wrong, and I'm going to come at you if you don't do this." So he didn't even try to hide it.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously bad dude, so this isn't going to be good. And I mean, Daniel's getting like the perfect opportunity here because he gets pulled into, a case with Bell, and so it's gonna give him a chance to find some dirt, or at least attempt to look for some.
Now, for that, he said Jessica was busy in the other surgery, and I kept looking for her. I didn't see her in the other surgery. So did this Daniel guy intercept Bell's request for Jessica?
Oh, I don't know. I just assumed that she was in the other surgery, but you're right. I don't remember seeing her.
I was
But maybe
intentionally
it
looking
was
for her and I didn't see her.
maybe it was a different surgery, because I mean, these aren't the only doctors at the hospital. I mean, like, I know we like to think that they are, but they're probably not. Maybe Dr. Nolan had a surgery that she was in on. Possible, right?
I don't know why would they point that out unless she was in the other one we could verify.
I don't know.
So I think this, because he requested that of Jessica and she said no. And so I think he intercepted the request for Jessica and he went in there with Belle and lied about it, saying, "Well, no, she's." So, I mean, if that's the case, he's got to be caught.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Wouldn't he get in trouble, and that would like ruin his chances? So I don't know.
But there's no way anyone would know because Belle didn't question it. He's just like, "Okay, yeah, she's busy, whatever," and went into the surgery. So, I mean, Belle's not going to question it.
Yeah, unless it comes up later, though.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but we know Belle's not going to stay down. So there's got to be some way.
Right.
But this patient was interesting, and I like it when London accents come on. English, I suppose they're not all from London, but the English accents, I enjoy that.
English accent. Yeah, I like this patient. So Claire and her husband come in, and she's like had a bunch of pain, and it's been ignoring it, I guess, because American healthcare sucks, and the cost of it. She didn't want to deal with it, but it got to be too much, and so here she is, and Devin figures out it's kidney stones, and these need to be broken up, and this can't wait until she gets back to England, and so we got to go into surgery. But Leela and Belle, they do the surgery, and it looks like it's really going well. Obviously, they're talking afterwards, and even Kit has found, they're going to be able to like pay for most of this with the insurance. Like they're not going to owe that much, so everything's looking great until it's not. And obviously, she's got some sort of infection. They think it's like from the surgery, and they've got to take her back in. It's a lot worse than they thought once they get in there. And they can't, like, I guess it was too much of her. Was it her intestine? That's where I can't remember. I don't know. Too much was eaten up with this infection, and she ends up dying on the table, which is really terrible. And then Belle's blaming himself, obviously, because he's saying that she was probably septic before they took her in surgery first time, but the pain and all the symptoms from the kidney stones were just masking that. And I mean, there was no way for them to know. So, I mean, I hate that he's blaming himself for this, but him saying the words like, "This is my fault," while Daniel's in earshot, I mean, it's not going to look, I don't know.
And I mean, to an extent, the first time they opened her up, shouldn't they have seen that she was septic the first time they opened her up?
I
mean, you're the surgery expert. I'm not. So,
well, I don't know enough about anatomy to know if you would. I don't know where. I mean, I assume you would be in the same place, but maybe not.
Well, I mean, if it deals with an infection from a kidney stone, it should be near the kidney stones.
Are the kidney stones like? Here's my question, and this may be super dumb question. Okay, I don't know, but like when you go to break up kidney stones, would it be fully opening her up, or would it be more laparoscopic? So maybe
I didn't think they. See, no, I apparently missed some of this. Because I didn't think Leland Bell did a surgery to break up the kidney stones. I thought they did some procedure outside of her body that broke up the kidney stones. I didn't know they went in to do it.
That's possible too. But they did something like I mean, obviously Bell performed what I just assumed because it was Bell that did something the first time.
Was it?
I think
I
so.
thought it was just Devin and Leela. And Belle got called in for the surgery.
But what did Leela do then? Because she's a surgeon, so why
don't know,
else
I
would you
missed
call
that
her
part.
in? Like I think it had to be something, but it may have been a less invasive procedure.
It was for sure, yeah. Because breaking up
And
the kidney
that's a-
stones isn't like a big, huge traumatic thing because it's not
Right.
fully opening you up.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. So I mean, because that's still, I guess, a surgery. You know, it's just wouldn't be like it would be laparoscopic, I guess.
Okay.
So maybe you wouldn't. Now this, I mean, I'm talking. I don't know what I'm really talking about. This is just what I think.
We are not real
happens.
doctors.
Okay. Yeah, I have no medical knowledge whatsoever other than from Grey's Anatomy. And
I don't even know where my
shows.
kidneys are. I just know I have one of them.
I mean,
That's all
I
I
know the
got.
general area.
I
You-
don't.
Would you say?
I
would you
only
say-
have one. That's all I
Oh, I was-
know.
The way you said it at first, I was like, no, Maureen, we have two, but maybe you only have one. I
me
have two.
specifically have one.
I have two.
That was a-
I
that
know
was
the
a weird
general
sentence.
area of where they are.
It's somewhere
they're-
between my neck and my
No,
pelvic
they're
bone.
more like lower body. And I think people always want to like from the back. Like I feel like I don't know, when everybody talks about kidney pains, it's in the back, like right above your butt kind of thing. Like
I mean,
I
I
don't
think
know.
I got enough space in there that they're pretty close to the middle.
Somewhere in there. Okay. But
Anyway,
anyways. This is your
we just
anatomy
want
lesson.
we just
from
wanted
Maureen
you
and
guys to
Jeanette.
know how much we know medically.
I actually took anatomy in high school. I did. But
I did
that's
not.
been 25 years ago. So I don't
Can't believe you
remember
just threw
much
that
of
number
it.
out there.
It's okay. I know, right? I just told my age. Oh gosh. I'm pretty sure we've showed our age before on here, so I'm not worried.
Maybe. But I think the way that he did this, because this is not actually something suable, I think they can probably convince the guy to sue Bell,
Mhm.
and it might bring him some bad press, but they won't win. And
Yeah.
this guy knows they won't win because they can't prove malpractice. They can't prove that Belle did something wrong because even what Kit said, it doesn't matter if she would have had it or not. The result would have been the same. You did do
Yeah.
everything you could. You took the right steps. You did the right
Yeah.
things.
But it might be enough bad press to sort of discredit them and get, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We'll
But I'm
see.
hoping that it'll, because when the guy, what's his Daniel, when he
Daniel.
reported back to the governor about it, he did not seem very sure of himself at all.
Yeah.
So maybe by the time it goes to court, because I think, and what a terrible thing. That man was so distraught over the loss of was it his wife or his girlfriend?
His wife, I think.
So oh my gosh, the way, I'm so glad there was no sound
Yeah.
because I would have lost my mind. The way he gripped Devin
Mhm.
when he found out she died. And then afterwards, the way he was just sitting there staring at nothing. And then you see Leela and Devin hugging in the hallway after that because it was just so horrible. They're going to take advantage of that man in this moment and convince him to do something that's just going to cause him more pain and loss of money, all for a vendetta.
Mhm.
What horrible, horrible people.
Horrible people.
Horrible.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I mean, that was like a tough loss with Claire, but
Mhm.
thankfully we got a win with our other patient this week.
A miraculous win.
Yes. This case though, like this an inmate Bobby who's when we first saw like AJ and Conrad pull up and AJ's talking to this woman outside the prison, who's Bobby's sister. I was like, who in the world is this? Even though I had seen the recap that was talking about the hospice nurse that worked, with
She
Carol.
looked different.
Yeah, I was still like, wait, is that her? Like, but it is. It is.
Mhm.
And that's what she called AJ for this favor. Because her brother, who supposedly has been wrongfully convicted of this crime. And he's like, having a hard time. He's sick, he's in pain, and none of the prison doctors are really worried about it. They're just completely ignoring it. Which
The prison doc, do you remember what he said?
yeah, well, not exactly, but
He's
I
like-
remember that I was mad about it.
They said, Conrad said, well, try to figure out what you have or what's wrong. He's like, I know what's wrong with him. He's got a case of fear or something along the lines of, I'm super paraphrasing here, something along the lines of he's got fear of I don't want to die syndrome all of a sudden. Like,
Yeah.
you
But-
still have an obligation
I know.
to care for those people, whether or not they're on death row.
I know. And I mean, I'm sure you probably do see a lot of those cases that are like that. I'm not saying you don't, because I'm sure you probably do.
But a real
like,
doctor
you
should tell the
can't-
difference.
Yes. Yes. I mean, this guy was clearly in pain. I mean, he ends up like seizing and passing out. I mean, there's blood
There was
coming from I
blood
don't know
splatter.
where.
What was that from?
I don't know. That's why I didn't put it in the notes, because I'm like, I don't know where the blood came from. There just was blood.
I remember thinking, because like he was holding his shoulder, and I was like, does he have a hole? Was he
Yeah.
holding a hole shut or something? But they said something about he arrested, and I don't know, does that mean blood spurting out? Is that what
I
that
mean,
means?
if you arrest, like that's like your heart like doing
Oh.
something, right?
I don't
Oh,
know.
I need Amanda.
You
Okay,
watch more
she's-
medical shows than I
She's
do.
my other medical professional here, you know.
See, my
I'm
problem
touched her
is
very loosely.
I watched this while binge watching Chicago Med, so
get
I
so
got my
confused.
medical shows mixed of what happened.
Yeah.
I need to stop doing that.
Imagine me, who's also watching Grey's Anatomy at the same time, so
It's true.
it's very confusing.
But they do take him to Chastain, and they
They
find
do.
out that they find a mass on the
Mhm.
base of his skull. And at first, I thought this was a new diagnosis, but then they asked him if he got bone marrow before, and he said yes, it saved his life. So he must have had bone cancer when he was younger. Because I felt like I missed a
Yeah,
step here
his sister said that he had leukemia when he was
when
younger.
he was younger. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I missed that step. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, she said he had leukemia, and so, you know, they're figuring that this is come back from that.
Oh, well.
But that's where like that come in, like the title, like we were talking about, you know, being a chimera. The fact that he's had a bone marrow transplant means that he has 2 sets of DNA in his body.
Mhm.
And so that's the big win. We figured out that he probably is innocent, and that the person that donated the bone marrow, who was a childhood friend, is probably the person that committed the crime and killed the woman. And ironically enough, this
Huh.
childhood friend is also in prison for armed robbery.
Weird.
So strange, right?
Now, at first, I was thinking, because I automatically believed he was innocent, because this man's on death row. He just got his death sentence, and he's still saying, I'm innocent. I've been serving for 15 years, praying for a miracle. It didn't happen. I'm just ready to die because I didn't do it.
Right.
So you know that he's innocent. You know that that's going to come into play. But I actually thought they were going to let him die for a minute.
Yeah.
Like, I was mad for like the first part of it until that very end of the episode. I was irritated with this whole storyline.
Yeah.
So that's also in my head. Like, no, I don't know. I want to see him be relieved of this, and you guys are going to do nothing. I was so
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a good thing like they figured this out, because that's what gave him the will to like, now I'm going to fight this, because like now I can get out, I can get my life back on track, and we can do this.
So I was just,
I'm telling you
it's
what,
frustrating.
I mean, if I ever need bone marrow, now I kind of don't want it.
right?
Because then like I could be like convicted of some sort of crime that somebody else is doing. I don't like this.
Instead of like a do not resuscitate card, it's
Keep
going to
it.
say, my bone marrow is not my own. That's what my card is going to
I
say
mean,
if I ever
maybe
need it.
there should be like, you know, you have diabetic bracelets and things. Like
Yes.
maybe you should have that so people will know, like little chimera bracelets.
Yeah.
That's what we
A
need.
picture of Jackson's face, half
No, not
lizard, half
Jackson.
human.
You're getting confused. Theo. You need
Theo.
Theo.
Who's Jackson?
Jackson was the Kanema.
Kanema. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, you need
It's
Theo's face. okay?
silly me.
I mean, those are 2 different things, Wayne. Right?
This whole time I was picturing Jackson as the lizard every time I heard the word chimera.
Yeah. No, that's a Kanema.
Oh. Clearly I didn't pay enough attention to what it was. I got the right
Oh,
show,
who
that's all
else?
that matters.
Mason's boyfriend. What's his name?
Liam.
No, that's his friend. You need to do a rewatch of Teen Wolf.
Oh yeah. Is it Cole?
Corey.
Corey.
Corey is also a chimera.
I am not up to date on this. Anyway, sorry,
There's
I
your
took
Teen
us
Wolf
down a trail.
lesson for the day. Wow,
If
we
you
are getting
ever
way off
had
track.
questions, but I felt so bad for this guy. 15 15 years of his life. That had to be a minimum of half of his life.
Yeah.
Minimum. And he's
mean,
probably in his 40s, so it's probably even more than that.
At the very least, if you have a bone marrow transplant, please let the person know that you now do possess someone else's DNA. So just in case.
Yes,
I feel
if you
like
were
you should
listening to this,
understand this knowledge, you know?
it happened on more than one of our medical shows, so we know it's a thing.
Obviously true.
So you need to be aware of this.
I need to ask, we need Amanda. I wonder if they've ever done a Chimera story on Grays. I mean, after 19 seasons, probably have, right? You run out of storylines.
It's next week on 911. There's going to be a Chimera storyline.
Watch. Yeah. Anyway.
But I think that with this, it was just so sad that he had wasted all this time. And the other guy was clearly, his life was wasted. And not only that, but his sister lost all these people because she stood by her brother. And the fact that it just blows my mind that the only evidence, because, you know, when DNA evidence came on the scene, which was,
right.
I can't do math, 15 years prior to that, was when his DNA was found.
Yeah.
So what, 2000 something? Why can't I do simple math? What is the year?
Well, I mean, it would have been like 2007 when he was convicted if it was 15 years ago.
Okay. So 2007, its DNA wasn't new by any stretch of the imagination, but there's still, even now, there's more innovation to it. There's more detail to it, more depth to it. The fact that you could be convicted on nothing more than a sample of DNA. No witnesses, no evidence, no tangible things that you could grasp except for one little sample of DNA. That's nuts. And the fact that medically that's how it works is your DNA becomes someone else's. Like, that's terrifying.
Like, does that happen with other organs? I wonder. Like, if you had any kind of organ transplant,
I don't think so, because that's bone marrow is different than an organ.
Yeah,
it functions differently because bone marrow runs throughout your entire body, and doesn't blood circulate? I don't know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea.
Blood has something to do with it somewhere in the bone marrow, in or out or something. But either way, I know you have bones from head to toe.
Yes,
I know that part.
That's accurate.
Your organs only take up one section at a time. So I think it's a little bit different in that respect, but it's terrifying. Especially for people. I mean, it's not like he was like, I think go on a bone marrow transplant today. He had to have it to survive. And then this happened. So the surgery was really intense. And at first he was like, you know what? Just let me die.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to live in that misery anymore on death row, knowing, I mean, oh my gosh, the pain of knowing you didn't do anything. And there was probably some stigma attached to it because, you know, he's a black man who is DNA was found at the scene. So there's probably that stigma attached to it too, that helped in confirming that he was a bad guy, whatever. But they were willing to do the surgery to give him a little bit more time, although there wasn't a high chance of success because it was such a rare thing. It was such a dangerous surgery. It was such a complicated surgery.
Yeah. I mean, there were a couple times that, you know, I mean, they almost lost him. And I mean, even Billy was struggling. I mean, thankfully, Cade
and Conrad.
Yeah,
together.
but Cade kind of, I feel like her suggestion was like the one that pulled him through or whatever. So,
well, Conrad made the suggestion and Cade made the suggestion of how to make Conrad's work.
It's true. So we'll give the credit to Conrad.
And Cade, they were a team together this week.
I don't want to talk about that though.
I just wanted to see your reaction.
No, I mean, she did good. She did good, you know, so she saved him. So we were happy for that for sure.
We were happy for that.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, like during this whole case, I mean, things were super awkward having the whole Conrad love triangle, like having to work together.
And I mean, this is going to be a problem because he said to page Billy and she got upset. Like, yes. Lady, she is a surgeon at the hospital who he is going to need to contact, and he's known her longer than you.
She's the chief of surgery.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Like she's the head surgeon at the hospital.
That. And a neurosurgeon.
Yes.
There's not a lot of neurosurgeons. It's not like neurosurgeons are super easy to come by.
No. I mean, I don't get me wrong. As a woman, like I get sometimes the jealousy, like it happens, but like you cannot let this like I
Affect
don't
your
know.
work.
Yeah, and I don't like. How long have you all even been together? Like, have you even said "I love you" to each other? Is it really that
Have you
serious? that
hung
you're
out with
like,
his child?
right? I mean, have you met her other than that one time at the hospital last season? Like, I don't feel like it can be as serious as you're making it out to be.
In her defense, what sparked this was seeing the image that all of us saw and knew what
Yeah,
it meant.
but the thing is, that was literally him dancing with her.
Mm-hmm.
That it's not like we saw a picture. She didn't see a picture of them making out.
I
Like,
agree.
it was literally them dancing, and she knows that they're like really good friends. It would make sense that you were not at this wedding with him. There's music, it's a wedding reception. He's probably gonna dance with his friend. Like,
Mhm. I don't think it was the dance that was the problem.
I
As
don't
she
know.
said, because I did
I love it.
laugh because she was like, he was like, Irving said, that's not what it looks like. I danced with her too. Or did he say I danced with
He said I
Conrad?
danced with Conrad.
And
Yeah.
she's like, did he look at you that way? Yep.
I know. I love that Irving was like, he was like standing up for him for sure.
So it was obviously, and obviously they're making more of it for us as the audience, but we know what that dance looked like in real life. And whoo, there was like
in real
flame
life.
shooting off. So I think that they're making it, what can they do with a picture? They can't really make it seem.
Yeah.
So
needed a
what she saw in the
video.
picture was the
We needed
look.
a video recording is what we
Yeah.
needed, because the picture was nothing.
Mm-hmm. I did like Conrad was like, so I hear you got some pictures of the wedding.
Yeah. My bad.
When it was, how did he word it to her? But he brought up Nolan to Jessica.
That's
She
what I
was
was
like,
just trying to remember.
Nolan. Like,
And she
what
was
is
like, "Ooh,
wrong with
Nolan."
Nolan?
I said the same thing. I was like, now I want to know exactly what she said.
She said George Clooney ER was more her speed.
Well, Dr. Nolan is my speed as well. I would
Yes.
totally be up for it.
Yes.
Heartbeat.
I love Dr. Nolan. I think he's
We
fantastic.
love Michael Hogan,
I
if
know,
we're
that's the
being
problem.
honest.
That is the
But
problem.
Still.
We can't separate man from character. It's okay. It's not a problem.
Should have never interviewed him, because it has ruined us, because all we do every single episode is hope for more Nolan every single time.
Well, it's the same thing with Irving. Like,
We've gotten more of him now. So now I'm like,
yes.
cool. He's there every episode. Now I just need Dr. Nolan to be there every episode.
Exactly. And I think it's hard now for Irving to do something wrong, because we interviewed Tasso,
Yes,
and
exactly.
I really, really, really like Tasso Feldman. So it's hard for me to like be mad at Irving for very long about anything at all, ever.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
he is the one who showed Cade. And I mean, of course, the rest of us are like, yes, Irving, show her more pictures, show her more, because we're okay with it.
Exactly.
Cade is more likable without Conrad. Although I don't think she'll stay if she breaks up with Conrad.
No, I don't want her to. I don't. I mean, look, the actress is a lovely actress, and I hope that she finds happiness on a different show. I do. I have no desire for her to stick around, because what would she do if they break up? Like, what purpose would she serve on the show?
She would run their medical squad thing.
No, Conrad can do that.
Go team. No, Conrad needs to stay in the hospital.
I'm cool with her just going. She take her dad with her.
Ooh, yeah, we didn't see Ian this episode.
No.
But Kate does bring it up to Conrad. So kudos to her, though, for having an issue and not holding on to it and being judgy and passive aggressive. She had an issue. She brought it right to him and was like, hey, saw the picture. What's up?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that right there is straightforward. And I can appreciate that about her.
Yeah.
Like I said, I like her better when she's nowhere near Conrad.
Yeah.
The episodes when they aren't working side by side, I like her a whole lot more than when she's working alongside Conrad. It irritates me.
Yeah.
But she
even though, like, when he said about the picture, like, kind of explained like it was no big deal, like the dance, whatever, she still came back with, we need to be honest and transparent with each other.
Because she's not an idiot.
Well, I know, but like can't.
You're trying to justify that Conrad is right and good and doing all this stuff, and she's villainizing it. But we all know he and Billy felt something, and they confirm it in this episode. So she's seeing that, she's picking up on that. She's not an idiot.
But I don't think I still think he has no intention of doing anything.
Oh, he doesn't.
And I think the thing is, though, Conrad is an honest person.
Mm-hmm.
He already is. Like, you don't have to tell him to be honest. He is an honest person. So at this point, I think he is telling her the truth. He may have felt something, but he has no intention of doing anything else. He is going to be with Cade. He's happy with Cade, as far as he knows. You know what I mean?
They're
Like,
having fun when AJ asked him.
I know, I noticed that too.
He didn't say, yeah, I'm happy. This is a great relationship. He said, we're having
and
fun.
He told Billy later, though, that he was happy with her.
Yeah, but I think that's because he was, I don't think it's that he's lying about his feelings for her. I think he's trying so hard to push them away that he's saying this stuff to Billy because he doesn't feel like he can have a relationship with her, even though he wants one.
He even brought it up to Irving. Like, he said again, she was Nick's best friend. And even Irving was like, and like, this really isn't, that's what I've been saying. Like, this isn't a big deal. Like, it's, I don't know.
And the fact that that's what he said to Irving for an excuse not to means that he does feel something for her. He's aware of it, but he doesn't feel he can. So he's trying to shove it away.
Yeah.
He's trying by that sheer Hawkins will to push it away. And I think Kate is picking up on that. So, I mean, I don't villainize her for that. I think that she's aware that I think she wants to hear him say, I do feel for her. I care for her deeply. I might have feelings for her, but I'm not going to act on it. I think Kate would like to hear that. Kate's very, I mean, we talked about this. She's kind of cold. She's very pragmatic. She's very analytical. So I think she wants all the facts, whether or not they're painful.
I think she'd say that to someone. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know how you say that. I was a little like surprised at how forthcoming the conversation between him and Billy was. I expected him to skirt around it a little more. To say like
Billy might have thought they were moving to the next step.
I think so. And as soon as he like basically said he was happy with Kate, she was like, well, I'm not confused anymore. And like, bravo, wanted to like give her like clap, like bravo for not like, if he's happy with like Cade, she's not going to sit around and like wait on him.
She shouldn't.
No.
And clearly it's this other doctor who is going to kind of push Conrad to address his feelings. And
I mean, okay, look,
I don't like this doctor.
Yamada,
don't like
he
him.
was no Conrad. But I have to admit, when he walked up, I said, well, hello. And she called him his name. I said, well, hello, Dr. Yamada.
Nope, don't like him.
You don't like him? Why?
Nope.
He hasn't done anything.
I don't like him. He's too smug.
He hasn't done anything to be smug yet. No, I'm okay with it for now.
The way he talked about his food reservation, too smug. Don't like it.
I thought he was smooth.
This is another Cade situation, you need to realize. I didn't really have a reason to hate her in the beginning either.
But I'm cool with this because I'm not mad at Conrad because I can never really be mad at him. But I think he's being dumb. And so I'm like, you know what? You go get yourself another doctor, Billy. Do it.
I don't think he's being dumb. I think he thinks he's protecting Billy and he's protecting Gigi and he's protecting above all Nick's memory is what I think. I think he's just so hung up on, I can't do this to Nick. It would be a betrayal of Nick. I can't let myself do this. And he was traumatized by that. And he even said that it completely destroyed him. And I think that he's still dealing with the trauma. I mean, has he ever talked to anybody about this? I mean, he was seeing her in visions for so long. Did he ever talk to a therapist, see a counselor, and get it dealt with? I don't think he did. So I think he thinks that he is protecting Billy, protecting himself, and protecting Nick's memory. I don't think he's being dumb. I think he's being traumatic.
I hope that one day, like, Gigi brings something up because we've seen like kind of how she doesn't care for Kate. I really feel like that's going to be like a push for him to say, right, for the same reason the rest of us
couldn't possibly be because this woman wants absolutely nothing to do with her daddy's daughter.
Yeah, right.
And I mean, what I did like though was Yamada was a little gutsy in asking her out right in front of AJ and Conrad. I did like that. For nothing more than because of the look on Conrad's face when he asked her. To the point that AJ had to look at him and say, are you okay?
But then again, he was also like, yeah, I want her to be happy too.
But he does, though.
He does want her to be happy. But
I just don't think he sees that I could be with him.
She's not going to be happy unless she's with you. Okay?
No, she'll just be content. And she'll play it off as happy, though, just like he's playing off happy. Because he's not happy.
Yeah.
How can he is such a good dad. How can he possibly be happy with someone who wants nothing to do with his daughter? He
Because
can't
he's
be.
having fun right now. And then he said that himself. And that's all. I think that's just all it is right now.
Mhm. I think he's looking for ease and he's looking for little effort as opposed to something that might actually do him harm. I think Cade, this is going to come out weird, but I don't mean it this way. I think Cade is easy.
Mm-hmm.
She's not going to cause him pain or trauma because he doesn't feel as much for her.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
So I do think that Yamada will serve his purpose and go, just as Cade will have served some sort of purpose where she goes. I mean, she's handled some good cases. She brought Andrew McCarthy, and I think that's where it ends.
Yeah, I think she served her purpose now.
So next week is going into another heavy episode. We do see Conrad and Cade side by side again.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't like them working together.
No,
I don't like it at all. I would rather her handle cases on her own, him handle cases on his own, and then they can come together later, but I don't like watching them work together.
Yeah.
And so I'm not looking forward to next week.
No. These cases, like with the fentanyl, like, we've got obviously a 13-year-old that's ODing on fentanyl. I mean, I know this is a huge problem because it's being
real.
displayed on all of our shows, like, medical shows, law enforcement shows, all that stuff. So it's a big deal, and it's obviously something that needs to be brought awareness to, but it's never easy to see when it's like kids, this stuff happening too. And it's not just that one. It sounds like there's like 3 more cases that come in.
Yeah.
So this is going to be
all teenagers.
Yeah. So I hope that we're able to save them all.
I mean,
I think that's wishful thinking, 4 cases and you're going to save them all. I don't know. We'll see.
They were for sure going to lose one, especially the last thing that we see is AJ in the preview saying kids are supposed to learn from their mistakes, not die from them. And he does not sound happy. So I think that's right after they lost someone.
Right.
It's so hard when they bring in these real life situations that are impacting kids, especially as a mom who has young kids. I mean, my daughter's 12.
Yeah, I know. 11. So really close to this. Yeah.
I hate these cases because it's the same reason I think I said this before. It's the same reason I had to stop watching Law and Order SVU. I couldn't stomach it. And this is a real and legitimate problem that's happening. I mean, fentanyl, isn't it the powder that can really, that can kill you? Small amount of power can kill you. Yeah. So it's scary, but that's coming up next week. And sometimes it's good. I mean, we always say we don't want reality in our shows, but it has to be balanced. That's what we want, is we want balance between fantasy and reality. So please don't kill all these teenagers next week.
I mean, and luckily the resident doesn't touch kids very often. No. So this, hopefully
Dick Wolf
be okay. Yeah, I know.
That man's not afraid to let somebody die.
No. Well, I mean, neither is Shonda Rhimes. So thankfully.
I think there's an episode we talked about where they need to stop seeing the same therapist.
Yes. Exactly.
See other
Someone
people.
Help them. I guess it's Kristen Allen Grace, but still, she's just as bad. So
next week it's going to be heavy. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be good. I think and I think they know, obviously it's a drama. It's not going to be happy all the time. It is a medical drama. So there has to be some of that. So there'll be a dose of reality and a dose of fantasy. It looks like. Join us in our Facebook group, by the way. We have the Resident Chastain Family Fan Club on Facebook. Join us over there. Come chat with us. Come talk about the new episodes. We want to hear what you like, what you don't like about the episode, and about our podcast too. Let us know. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and subscribe if you can on our podcast platforms like iTunes and Spotify, things like that, and rate us so we can keep providing you content for what's coming up, for what we want to give you. Fox Night is every Sunday, where we watch 911 and The Resident, or talk about it, not watch. NBC Night is Tuesdays, where we talk about all of One Chicago. And Wednesdays are ABC Night, where we talk about Grey's Anatomy and Station 19. So stay tuned for those. If you have not seen any of these shows, but you're just curious, watch one of our podcast episodes. We don't go play by play. We just give you our opinions of the show and what happens. So check it out. Really, really good shows. If they weren't good shows, we wouldn't talk about them. Sure. We have a problem where we watch absolutely everything. Or, Jeanette and Amanda watch absolutely everything. And then from there, they decide what's good and what's bad. So they're the experts. If we watch it, it's good. So stay tuned for that. And the other thing to stay tuned for is we're always trying to come up with new ways to celebrate with you guys about these shows, about these people. So stay tuned for a big announcement we have about something that we're trying to do for summer of 2024. So watch out for that. And we're hopefully going to be able to get some merch your way sometime here soon. So watch out for that too. Check out our website, check out all of our socials, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye. Loving our content? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to share our podcast with your family and friends. We want to continue the conversation with you. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok under Fandom Family Chats, or one of our ever-growing Facebook groups by searching Family Fan Club. We've also launched a website, Family Fan Club 2021 at wixsite.com. You can email us there and keep checking it for announcements and merch coming soon. And of course, be sure to tune in every week for new episodes discussing all your favorite shows.